That's it? That's the... That was just a bunch of cheap walk cycles! What a rip!
Greetings, fellow mortals. Just a reminder, saying it's just my opinion is for cowards. If you don't know, Rebel Moon is Zack Snyder's two latest films, both of which I did not watch originally because I knew for certain as soon as I saw them that there was going to be a director's cut. At this point, director's cut is what Zack Snyder is known for. His fans swear that it is the studio's fault, not his fault, that all of his films have problems, and so they get mad at you for criticizing the original ones. So when the first two Rebel Moons came out, I'm like, I'm gonna wait, because the definitive versions are going to come out and they're going to be just as bad. So this is coming from a person who has no experience with Rebel Moon whatsoever, and I still did not like either film. They kind of sucked. And spoilers in 3, 2, 1, go. Rebel Moon is basically edgy Star Wars. There is a giant evil empire, there is a rebellion, we're starting at a farm. You can see where this is going. When the evil empire, aka Mother World, decides to invade the farmlands in order to take their crops, the farmers decide that they have to fight back, mostly because a newcomer named Korra decided to slaughter the sentries that were placed there to oversee the harvest. Without a whole lot of other options, the farmers decide that they need to reinforce their homes and fight back against the Mother World, otherwise they'll be slaughtered. Meanwhile, Korra and a farmer named Gunner decide to go off and find different people to help them defend the farms. And that's basically the first movie. Korra and Gunner going around recruiting people that Zack Snyder swears is really, really cool. Please love them. He promises that they are the best people to ever be people, even though we need to be constantly reminded who they are so that we don't forget.
Who are you? I am. Who are you? I am. Who are you?
After the climax of the first film, where they kill one single person and think that the invasion is off for some reason, everyone returns to the farm where they learn that they were wrong, the Mother World is still coming, and they need to get ready. And so they spend the entirety of the second film fortifying the farms, fighting off the Mother World, and somehow succeeding. Yay, victory party. Oh wait, the princess is still alive. We need to go save her now. So there are plans for more, but the question right now is, does the director's cut make Rebel Moon a good set of films? And the short answer is no, it doesn't. Look, I have nothing to compare this to. I did not watch the original versions of Rebel Moon, but the director's cut is so long and boring, everything seems to be covered in grime. Characters talk to each other like they haven't had social interaction for their entire existences. A lot of it feels edgy just to get attention, with the nudity and the segs just being there in order to get people to talk. And to be fair, it felt very Zack Snyder-ish, and it probably did get more than a few suckers to watch it, so there you go. Eventually I got to the point where I was watching some things at 1.5 speed just to hurry things along. All of the dialogue takes forever. All of the fight scenes take forever. Come on, hurry this up. This is the plot of one film stretched out into 6 hours. No, it was over 6 hours. Oh my god.
Oh, I've wasted my life.
There was no real legitimate reason to have a director's cut version of Rebel Moon. The reasons for it are because Zack Snyder is known for the director's cut and because Netflix wanted to double dip. They wanted people to watch 4 films for the cost of 2 films. And while they didn't get everyone back for the director's cut, they probably got enough people in order to justify doing this type of tactic again. Isn't that wonderful? Look, I hate Zack Snyder's style of filming. Either things are so slow that I'm losing my mind begging them to hurry up, or things are happening so quickly that I cannot comprehend what is going on before my eyes. Either the scenes are too dark that I can't see jack, or they're filled with so much stuff that I'm overstimulated and I can't digest it all. Same thing with the audio. I did not enjoy it. But, and there is a but, I do understand the appeal of Zack Snyder. He gives his fans what they want and he doesn't hate any of them. He loves them, and I have to appreciate that. All of his edgy, grainy stuff comes straight from the mind of the teenage boy. He gets what the adolescent wants, and you know what? I can appreciate that type of view. Not only that, his writing isn't filled with terrible ideas. If you outline everything in Rebel Moon, it would make a solid 2-hour movie. Even the Martha situation from Batman v Superman isn't completely terrible at its core. Think of it like this. Two very strong individuals with very different ideologies fight each other, but then they stop and realize the horror of the situation because they realize that their opponent is a human being with loved ones. Normally, this is done in tales of revenge, where the Avenger is about to kill their target, but then they see a child watching, and then the child says, "Daddy," and then that makes the Avenger realize that they've become what they hated the most. Great ideas, not so great execution. I can see why there's a bunch of people who really like him. At the same time, there's a bunch of people who are frustrated with him. Being the idea man is not a bad thing, because Zack Snyder has a great elevator pitch for each of his films. Just look at Rebel Moon. You're a movie executive. You get into the elevator with Zack Snyder. You start going up. He starts to pitch this idea. You know, there's a huge void of Star Wars right now. A lot of people are unhappy. A lot of them are the dudes, the lads, the bros. So why don't we make Star Wars, but for them? Have a bunch of gore and violence and segs. It will bring a bunch of people in and get them talking. The main character is a woman who defected from the evil empire, and now she has to help this small community that she's grown to love. She, one of the farmers, and a robot that's slowly gaining sentience go out in order to recruit a bunch of people from the rebellion to help them defend their homeland. The main female character learns to love the people around her, and she uses this motivation to push the evil empire back, all the while learning that the sweet princess that she thought was dead is actually alive. At the end of the film, the group has a new mission. They set out to find and rescue the princess so they can put her into power and she can change the system from the inside. Now that's an elevator pitch. It's probably how Zack Snyder sold these films. You gotta give it to him. He's the great idea guy.
The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma.
But there are a lot of problems with Zack Snyder's films. He struggles to bring his ideas onto the screen. Zack Snyder's main battle is with the art form of filmmaking in and of itself. Films can only be so long, and Zack wants to put as much of his ideas into his projects as he can. He can't put the inner monologue and POV from each character that he wants. Not only that, he has to clash with everyone around him. Executives wanting to make their money back, actors disagreeing with his viewpoints. Being on the big screen is what's holding him back. You see, he loves all of his little details. He loves world building. That was the best part of Rebel Moon, was when they were traveling around recruiting people and you got to see all these different creatures and societies and you were wondering how everything functioned, and that was great. That was the best part. I love that. It's why he's known for the director's cut, because he wants to add more and more and more into films, and the medium of movies just can't handle it. Hell, I don't even think TV shows could handle it. But there is one form of entertainment that could. I think Zack Snyder missed his calling of writing giant ass novels.
What the hell are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
Zack Snyder could write what he wants, when he wants, with basically no limitations. And if he had a good editor at his side, he would do really well, because then he would have someone to pull him in and tell him when things aren't working, which tends to happen sometimes in his films. He would still need to work on his dialogue, but hey, every author has their weakness. He could do inner monologues for each character to tell us exactly who they are. During action scenes, he wouldn't need to constantly do camera cuts and slow motion in order to emphasize what's happening, because I hated the action scenes. Rapid cut, slow motion, rapid cut, slow motion. Hey, you know what would help? If you wrote it instead of trying to direct it. Look, there's no shame in being good at one specific form of art and then struggling in another. Everyone has their strengths. Theater plays will not make a good movie. A good movie won't make a good graphic novel. A good graphic novel might not transition well into being a book. This is why I think Zack Snyder is so frustrating to so many different people. You can see the potential there, he's just in the wrong type of entertainment. I just think that he and his fans would be a lot less frustrated if he transitioned into writing. He can do as much world building as he wants. He can make different spin-off novels. He could make an entire compendium of his universe so that people could understand the small details.
Books, books, all the books I'll need, all the books I'll ever want.
Because Rebel Moon, this ain't it, pal. It's not that great. It was long, it was bloated, it was boring. I had a headache afterwards because I was overstimulated from the visuals and from the sounds. It just wasn't good. There's a good outline and a lot of good ideas in there, but it's bogged down by everything else. I do not recommend. I didn't even have the joy of being a Star Wars hater and watching it fail to pull me through this. Ugh. So disappointed. Now the real question. How to fix it? I have no damn idea. You have to basically scrap everything and reshoot it again for this to be tolerable to me. The pacing, the dialogue, the action, it wasn't there, man. It just wasn't there. Especially the slow motion. I hated the slow motion so much. Oh my god. Keep the same outline but shorten everything down. Make it so that I can see things in normal scenes and so that I'm not overstimulated during fights. Rewrite the dialogue so it sounds like actual people are talking, and bring in someone that points out every single flaw that they can think of. Do all that and you can change this from the Star Wars prequels to the original trilogy. That's all I'm saying. Or you can continue as things are now with Zack Snyder doing his worst instincts and make a Rebel Moon Part 3. And then a Rebel Moon Part 3 director's cut. Yay, that's the world we live in now. I promise you, Netflix is going to do this again because it worked. But not just with Zack Snyder films. They're going to do it with their other movies and for their TV shows. There's going to be the regular release and then the director's cut release. Ooh, kind of like with AAA video games. There'll be a Movie of the Year edition with all of the DLC. That will be hilarious. You're welcome to disagree with all this. That's fine. After all, everyone's entitled to their objectively wrong opinion.
Disappointed!
Thank you all so much for watching.
You're still here?
Good night, everybody. Thank you. You bye. Boom.
Do not despair.